the strangest feeling to know what to believe in. Cause every time you touch me, I can't control my body. Oh, baby, you are on my mind, all I think about, and I don't wanna stop.
From dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light, you have now entered into the real zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of Conversation with Trent and Friend, featuring Coach D. Good stuff. Got an early morning text from Coach D here, talking about doing a school shooting post. And I went to looking out, seeing what was going on out there, and it appears that there was a school shooting, a private school shooting over in Nashville, over in Green Hill, Nashville. Let's get Coach D in and turn the mic over to her. What's that?
Hi there. Sorry, I'm using my phone because my son is using my laptop. How's everybody doing today? Did I lose you there, Trent? No. All right. So anyway, let me go on. Since I can't see Trent, go on why I picked this subject. So today, my 9-year-old had to do an active shooter drill because of the recent school shooting. So that's where I came up with this idea. So let me welcome in the guests. We have Kathy. Good evening, everyone. Doing well. Slash says Grand Rising Melanated people. Greetings, Princess Coach D and Mr. Epic. All right. So that's where the idea come from, is because Xavier had to do a active shooter drill today.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Am I back? Can you hear me?
I can.
Gotcha. Good stuff. Because so I thought I started doing some research and I noticed there was a school shooting as well over in Nashville, Greenville, Nashville, and I was like, well, let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah. So I will tell you right now, people are not going to like me about this conversation because
this is exactly why I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and green light this.
Yeah.
And let's just go ahead and do it, because I knew you were coming with it. I knew you were going to come with information, for one, pertinent information, not just gibberish. I already knew you were coming with it, so let's get to it.
So let's talk about this. So since Columbine, there have been 376 school shootings. Now, mass school shootings, they only count when I think it's more than 3 people are killed. That doesn't count when only one person is killed, like here in Randallstown. I was going to get the list and read off the schools, but there are too many. Like over 378,000 kids have been actively involved in a school shooting
since Columbine.
378,000. Like and for somebody who went to school outside of the United States, people outside the United States are like absolutely baffled how this is allowed to continue again and again and again and again. Like my son's school, when we went to go pick a seat, I consciously counted how many classrooms from that back door to his classroom. Because that first classroom that gets hit doesn't get a warning.
Right.
The other classrooms get a warning because then they've heard the gunshots. And when I did that, I was like, man, you know what? It's pretty bad when I'm like glad that there's 3 classrooms before his.
Right.
And then I'm like, well, next year it's even better because next year he's upstairs. but now there's only one exit from those. You know, there's limited exits. But here's the thing: we're sending kids to school with bulletproof vests, sending kids to school like, excuse me. Instead of fixing the problem, we sent kids to school with clear backpacks.
Exactly.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
You mean that doesn't do anything?
let's just put it out here and just go straight for it. You know, I hate these topics. That's why I
Yeah.
turned the microphone over to you, because I think it's a bunch of foolishness on the system part.
Mhm.
This system is seriously sick.
Yeah.
This society, this system, and when I say system, I'm talking about in the United States. This
Yeah.
system is completely sick. It's sick. It brings me ill to my stomach. I mean, to just see that these kids are placed out there, placed out like pawns. And
Yeah.
then when one incident happens, here comes the politicians. Here comes a politician with their bullshit. Everybody has an agenda, man.
Yeah.
Everyone has an agenda. And you know
Mhm.
who fails? You know who loses? The kids.
Yep.
The kids and the families. This
Yep.
society and this system is sick. It's
Oh yeah.
sick. And the thing about it, and you're absolutely right, because I mean, you went to school in another country. And, you know, I was fortunate to visit different countries and whatnot. Those people don't even operate that way, man. They don't
No.
even operate that way at all. They don't even operate that way. This system is sick. But go ahead.
Yeah.
The mic is
So
yours.
no. So here's the thing. I love guns. People are like, oh, D, you're just against guns. I'm like, no, I love guns. But I've been to a range when there's somebody with a gun there who has no business having a gun in their hand. And you know what I mean? I took down my first moose at like 9. I'm a country girl. I grew up surrounded by guns. Most everybody in Canada, we have guns. We have lots of guns. It's not a it's a violence problem. Here we talk about the Wild West, and everybody's like, shoot first, ask questions later. That's the problem. Like everybody's like, oh, you're gonna take our guns. I'm like, I'm sorry, but there's no reason why you need 87 guns if you're not a gun collector. If you're doing it to protect yourself against the government that you voted for, you've obviously never seen a Marine battalion at work. Because you know what? One guy with a drone can take you out. You know what I mean? I was in the artillery. We were 20 miles away. We could take you out. Your AR-15 is not going to do anything against an army. You know what I mean? Have your guns. Go to the range. Go shooting. That's fine. But there needs to be common sense laws. You know what I mean? There's absolutely nothing. If I have
laws, when the people that's actually making the laws, they don't even have common sense.
well, here's the thing. Well, people vote for them, so you know.
Yes, ignorance.
I voted for the guy the guy in my area. He wants common sense laws. I voted for him. But here's the thing: when I moved to the U.S., it was easier for me to buy a gun than get a driver's license.
And I'm still asking you today why you did that. I asked you when you first did it. Then I'm still asking you, why'd you even come here?
Well, remember my father's family's American, so there's but it's you know what, when Sandy Hook happened and we saw all those kindergartners and grade 1 students and nobody did anything, I knew right then and there nobody will ever do anything, because freedom is an illusion here. People think, oh, we're the greatest country on earth. No, you're not. We are developed. We're worse than some developed nations, from third world nations. We have the highest maternal mortality rates in the developed world. You go to other countries, they don't have school shootings on a regular basis. There was in the news yesterday, there was one that was a school shooting that was stopped by a mom in a parking lot who saw a gunman walking across the field towards the school with a rifle. And she saw him from across the street and called the cops. And he had multiple weapons. And then people are like, well, the only criminals do that. The weapons used in the school shooting in Nashville were legally bought. Oh, I'm just sorry. I'm just trying to get to the comments. I hope I don't get booted again.
Let me pull it up.
Yeah, because I see there's some comments. And Martine says, peace, y'all. Kathy says, as an educator, it saddens my heart to hear this once more. We often practice drills several times a year. We've had students enter our building with BB guns, and it was handled swiftly. Coach D, I'm like that as well. My The classroom is at an entrance door. My room door remains locked and covered. Yes, I agree there's an agenda. It needs to be handled and talked about with quickness. And Martine says, seems as if some of the footage for the school shootings was fake. Martine, don't even go there, because that is the one thing that pisses me off more about Americans. Y'all and your false flags. People are dead. Kids are dead. 3 9-year-olds are dead. And people like, oh, they're crisis actors. I'm like, you know what? Y'all need to wake the hell up. Like, this is, kids are dying. And people are like, oh, it's a crisis actor. It's not real. No. You go to those parents' funerals of those kids and tell those parents it's not real. Alex Jones lied to the Sandy Hook kids, and now he's paying the price, and they sued him. You know, this stuff is not, it's not fake. I don't know why people think this is fake. Nobody's pretending kids are dying. They're dead and being buried. Right? It's ridiculous. Let me pull it up. I'm on my phone, so bear with me while I switch over. This continues to happen because America doesn't care about our future, because the U.S. is ranked 93rd in manufacturing guns. The Second Amendment, which speaks of armed militias protecting what? Yeah. Here's the thing.
Bingo.
Yeah. Here's what the Second Amendment was about. The Second Amendment wasn't about getting guns. The Second Amendment was about stopping slave revolts, because that's who the guns were for. The United States had no problem when Ronald Reagan stopped the Black Panthers from open carrying in California. Right. No problem with that whatsoever. So it depends on who has the guns. So I told people, I said, when people see a line of Black men and women lining up to get guns, they will have no problem whatsoever restricting them. Exactly.
Still has a follow-up there.
Yeah, Martine says, I've seen some repeat footage. Maybe some of the news stations were showing old footage. It could possibly be old footage, but we have hundreds of shootings to pick from.
We have to be very, very, looking at media with the third eye. When these type of situations come up, we have to look at media with the third eye, because they will feed you, and media is put in place to force feed you.
Yeah.
So we gotta be mindful of stuff like that when it comes down to media. So
here's the thing. Nowadays, we don't have to rely on media because we have social media. Exactly. We have video footage of what's happening on the ground at the time.
And this is why right now they're in Congress or the Senate, wherever they are, talking to TikTok about all this other craziness. They just started with TikTok, but they've been picking on Mark for a minute. They're gonna go down the line. But here's the thing, but they're going to...
TikTok and Facebook are different.
Again, but it's too much access for them. For them, the people have too much access.
Yeah.
That's an issue. That's an issue for them.
Listen, I watch those congressional hearings about TikTok. The guy is from Singapore. He's not Chinese. So I don't even know what asking if TikTok can access your Wi-Fi. I'm like, Grandpa, come on, you make everybody look like idiots. You don't know how a computer accesses how network, but
because it's not about the network. It's about the people who have access to the system, to this tool.
Yeah, TikToks allow people to do their activism as en masse, as groups. Because I'm involved in some activism groups that use TikTok to organize. Right. Yeah, but here's the thing: the United States Congress is run by lobbyists. Boom. So there's the way some legislation done is that one group does the legislation, writes it up, and then sends it out to all the different states. That's why when you see bills passed, you'll see the same law going to the state congresses in multiple areas. Right. But the NRA owns the United States Congress. You see all the congressmen that had walking around with AR-15 buttons on their lapels instead of American flags. Right? It's the NRA owns a lot of congressmen. There's a lot of money paid.
It's no secret that the United States is owned by the corporations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's no secret.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time.
That's what's happening, folks.
I tell people all the time, if you're not pro-life, and they're like, why aren't you pro-life? I'm like, if you were pro-life, you would be as vehement about all these school shootings as you are about abortion. And they're like, oh, but gee, that's different. I'm like, how's that different? Do those kids' lives not matter? I don't see you fighting for breakfast for kids. I don't see you fighting for daycares. I don't see you fighting for Head Start. I don't see you fighting for public school education. I don't see you fighting for any of that.
You got these folks fired up in there. Let's pull these comments
So,
up. You got
I
these fired up.
I expect plenty of emails. Slash says, okay, where did I leave off? And Martine said the sound bites quotes throughout the various news stations in different cities. Slash says number 45 and the big wigs want parts. They want to get in TikTok's pockets. They care nothing about our security. No, they don't.
Pretty much.
And Martine said all the social media is designed to mix people's heads up. No, social media, it's how you digest it. It's what you have on your social media.
I spoke on this after you got off, not this past Sunday, but the Wednesday before. It depends on how you utilize this tool.
Yeah.
It's all on you how you utilize the tool.
Yeah.
So I don't believe in the whole force-fed thing and people playing with your mind. Your mind is as strong as the person you're allowed to play with it.
Yeah. The TikTok algorithm is very specific. Like my TikTok algorithm, I spoke about the other day. I see activisms. I see motivational speakers. I see pets, cats and dogs, because that's where I get my dopamine.
You know how to utilize the tool.
Yeah.
You know how to use the tool. But a lot of folks come to these social media sites and they don't utilize the tool the proper way.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. When I first come to social media wasn't even popping. When I came to social media, what I saw was something totally different from every other user saw. I saw everybody gathered in one place where I could sell a bunch of product.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I saw.
Yeah.
But it's how you utilize the tool, man. It's how
Definitely.
you utilize the tool and get on with it.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be like a morbid and a zombie, of course they're going to be able to manipulate your mind.
Yeah.
You have to know how to utilize it, man. Turn it around for your good.
Yep. And yeah, I have some more comments. Kathy says, there's nothing fake about it. Take this topic as a serious matter. As a community, you can rally at your school district's monthly meetings. Speaking with your local municipalities can create movement within our schools. The agenda is political based. Grassroots conversations are powerful. Leave it to the political heads. You'll hear and see nothing. Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree. Slash says, pro-life is only about generic lives because it's in the negatives. It's all about a power base. The white power base is being diminished and they're becoming a minority, so they're pulling for power wherever they can.
Now we're getting to the meat and potatoes. Yeah.
Martine says, true indeed is not for the weak. Me too, mine shows what I speak about, what I'm into, music, cats, dogs, and upbeat energy. Yeah. Exactly. So here's the thing. Gen Z and Gen Alpha are change makers. Right? These guys are the ones, Gen Alpha, Xavier's generation, they are very much the fuck around and find out, we'll burn it to the ground crowd. They are not playing games with anybody. You know what I mean? That's why he has my laugh.
You are truly taking advantage of this tool of being independently owned. Say that one more time. I love that. Say that again.
They are the fuck around and find out crowd. Now, I don't swear very often.
I love it.
So,
I love
it. So that
honestly, I haven't heard you curse in over 20 years.
Yeah, occasionally when I'm fired up. So you know what? He's Xavier, my 9-year-old says, after coming home, says, Mommy, we need to do better. We shouldn't have to do this at school.
Right.
I'm like, you're right.
He's right.
Like, you know, his school, without giving away their security, was rebuilt in 2015 with school shootings in mind.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like my nieces and nephews in Canada, they don't have active gun drills.
You know, here's the thing, folks. Once we get a clear understanding of who's the wizard behind the curtain, we're in good shape. Once we get a clear understanding of who's the wizard behind the curtain, we're in good shape. Then we can mobilize. Then we do what we need to do.
Yeah. The NRA and the gun manufacturers don't care about the Second Amendment. They care about making money. That's what they care about. And every time some politician mentions guns, what do these fools go out and do? They go and buy more guns and more ammunition.
Exactly.
Thinking somebody's going to take it. Nobody's taking nothing. Nobody's taking anything from anybody in regards to guns, even though the Second Amendment clearly states you're supposed to be a member of a well-regulated militia. Excuse me. Yeah, and I'm sorry, the Gravy SEALs are not a well-regulated militia. I've seen them on the range. You know what I mean? It's disgusting. Some of them couldn't shoot the broadside of a barn with a Carl G.
So did you get any kind of details from what happened over there in Green Hill over in Nashville?
And Nashville referenced the person. So here's the thing. The person in Nashville, they killed 3 students, 3 9-year-olds and 3 adults. So the problem now is because that person possibly is transgender, now they're saying it's a transgender issue. Forget the other 375 school shootings we've had that didn't have any transgender people.
Smoking mirrors.
So here's the thing. So I was watching C-SPAN because I like to keep an eye on what our politicians are or are not doing and what they're voting for. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I have no idea how she remained in office, was talking, I hate to call people stupid, but the anti-intellectualism amongst our politicians currently is deafening. You shouldn't be proud of being ignorant of what is going on around you. You shouldn't be proud of lying and making up facts. People are dying on a regular basis. There'll probably be another school shooting within the next week because that's how many we have on a regular basis. Kids are. When you look at the faces of those little kids, those 3 9-year-olds who went to school and will never come back, if your heart doesn't break, if you look at the faces of all those kids, all those kindergartners and grade 1s that we lost a few years back, and your heart doesn't break, there's something wrong with you. It's inhumane to allow this to happen again and again and again with nothing occurring.
Slash coming in hot.
I'm sorry. Thank you for. I have to switch screens, so bear with me. 1 second. Martine says some of these things I share, post ain't exactly what I'm experienced or have experienced. The shooter was a woman, right? Yes. One of the very few female mass shooters. And Slash says, and the called Joe Clark Crazy Joe for locking down schools. White people were toting guns in 99% of these cowardice shootings. And the NRA says nothing. Even the Popo, aka race soldiers, were scared. Yeah. Look at what happened to those poor kids in Texas.
Yep.
When the armed cops wouldn't go in, and a mom went in and got her kids.
Thanks for the alley-oop. Coach D. Here's the thing about that, Martine. This is what we're talking about with media outlets, right? You haven't heard one peep about these people over there in Texas, what happened to them. You haven't heard anything else. I know I haven't. And I watch a ton of news.
Yeah.
I watch more news than I watch TV shows and movies.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any specials on this stuff or any updates on what's going on with it, how's the families get along, anything like that.
I know only because I know people in the area.
They one and done them. They one and done those folks.
Yeah. They don't care. They do not care at all. So now we have the Stoneman Douglas, the kids in Parkland, who are now voting. And that occurred in 2018. And those kids are a generation of kids who've grown up with active shooter drills. They were showing on the news, one lady was in an active shooting with her kids, and then she was in Tennessee on vacation across the street from the school and witnessed another active shooting. Like, I don't understand how people are not up in arms, like how the entire country, gun owners alike, because they are making you look bad, aren't marching on Washington.
You know why these people are not in an uproar?
Why?
You know why? Because it's so easy to distract.
Oh, Lord, yes.
So easy to distract. Here comes another
dance
challenge.
There.
Here comes another dance challenge. Here comes another twerk challenge. Here comes another ice bucket challenge or whatever that fool is. I mean, come on, man. Because they're
Well,
easily distracted.
no,
We
that's all
nothing,
one
man.
generation. Here's the thing,
Not
and
just one generation there. I mean, I see a lot of distracted adults every day on social media.
but it's not social media. It's a culture issue. It's a cultural issue. No other country has this issue. This is an American issue. And people look at the United States and
But
they're like,
they're very
why do
much distracted.
it's much more than that though.
Go ahead.
Here's the
Do
thing.
tell.
If you look at if you watch American news and you watch any other news, excuse me, Americans are trained to live in fear. You're
It's
trained.
called
Like,
programming. It's called
yeah,
programming.
yeah. But here's the thing.
Programming.
I asked a friend, the guy used to live behind us, had tons and tons of guns. I'm like, why do you have so much guns? This is a really safe neighborhood. No, nothing happens here. Like, we have cops, ex-military, firefighters in our neighborhood. There's nothing happens here. He goes, well, what if somebody tried to do something? I'm like, dude, you're in my backyard. They got to get past my house first.
It's called programming. And when you think about this, right? I'm gonna get this small analogy so you guys catch up. Listen what I'm saying here real quick. There was a reason why McDonald's said 1 billion sold. They put those hard ass seats in there and those bright ass lights. Bring your ass in, bring them badass kids, play on those toys up in there, and get out of here.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that 1 billion burgers sold. That was a reason for that. It's called programming. It's called programming. When you sit in front of that TV, they're feeding you. They're programming you. It's called programming.
Man, you could listen. I've watched TV my entire life. I've never gone to shoot up a school. I played video games my entire life. It's much more than that.
It's much more than that, but let's get down to it. Let's get down to the meat and potatoes. Honestly, matter of fact, Martine said some stuff that I never even heard Martine speak like that.
What's that?
Oh, it was
many people I know homeschool their children and grandchildren. Some people don't care. Also, it happens in real life and TV so much that people are just shrugging as if it's no big deal to them. My cousin has 11 guns. The last time I saw his collection, they're locked in a cabinet. So here's the thing.
We lost her. She'll be right back, folks. We'll take a quick commercial real quick. 1 second. We'll be right back.
Thanks for tuning into Conversations with Trent. We will be right back with more conversation after these commercial breaks.
Check out the creative work of the author Trent Williams of www.taylorkennedymedia.com. Chapter of the Delta gives us a peek at his life-changing events. And if that's not enough, Trent tells you more about his brothers and his life through memoirs in his book, The Four Horsemen. His blogs and daily stimulating quotes are published in his book, Life's Little Addiction. And when you have a need of some human coaching of life and relationships, take a look at Conversations with Trent, Volume 1 and 2, and Conversations with Trent, Limited Edition. You will find his works available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all online book retailers.
Welcome back to Conversations with Trent. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're online and want to be a part of tonight's topic, you can do that by dialing 347-324-5327. Press the number 1 to get into the queue so that your voice can be added to tonight's conversation. Now, let's get back to the show.
Oh, we were disconnected for a minute.
Oh no, that was me. I switched. I tried to switch to comments and I accidentally hit leave.
Right.
Because they're right next to each other.
I was like, okay. The internet police picked up on us, but they cannot block us or turn us down now, folks. If we're actually ever blocked on any social media sites, just head on over to B2G Unity TV on your Roku channel, on your Roku network, or on the website, b2gunitytv.com.
Right.
We're constantly streaming there. Live is independently owned, and we're streaming internationally. So we're all good. We're all set. But I thought the police got it there for a second. Go ahead.
No. I I don't think they want people who shouldn't have guns either. Pretty sure they're, you know what I mean? They're most of them are pretty on board with that.
Right,
But here's the thing. Here's the cultural difference in the United States and other countries. Other countries work and teach as a collective, the community, the village. In the United States, we have what's called individual ruggedism or individualism. The individualism allows people to ignore what happens as a community because they're not personally involved. So it's only when they get personally involved that it becomes an issue for them. Any other time, it's always somebody else's problem. So when we have school shootings, we don't have proactive reactions. We have reactive reactions. We have fear and anger. And then congressmen are like, oh, our thoughts and prayers go out to those affected. They put body bags on the National Mall and wrote the words thoughts and prayers because they're just empty platitudes. Thoughts and prayers don't bring back little children who've been shot.
Exactly.
Thoughts and prayers don't help the trauma of those other kids who had to go through school day hearing screams and shooting. We have an entire generation traumatized. And people like, well, they could just tough it out. I'm like, we can't hurt our children any more than they're already hurting when it comes to this. We need to help them. Like, kindergartners shouldn't have to worry about if the chatty ones get to be the ones to help talk people who are shot.
Right.
That's my son's job. If there's a shooting and kids in his class are injured, because he's a chatty kid, he can talk to them and help them. He's 9. Like, people don't understand. There's kindergartners worried that somebody's going to come into their classroom and kill them. Nowhere else in the world is that allowed. And we just go, oh, well, the Second Amendment, I'm not going to give up my guns. I'm like, you know what? Nobody wants to take your guns. I want your guns licensed, and I want your guns registered like my car is. That's it. I shouldn't be able to go to a gun show and buy whatever the hell I want without somebody checking up on me. And then people are like, well, criminals can get their guns whenever they want. I'm like, you know what? Most of the guns used for school shootings are bought legally. Nobody's a criminal until they use it criminally.
I'm going to say this. It's going to sound crazy, but I'm just going to say it anyway. It's not the criminals that I'm worried about. I'm not worried about not one criminal.
No.
I'm not worried about not one criminal. I'm not worried about those folks.
Yeah.
The folks that I have a problem with, that actually I'm looking at with that side eye, the people pushing those pens, people making these laws, people who's actually patrolling these laws.
Oh, yeah.
Who I'm looking at. That's who I'm worried about.
Yeah, that's why I tell people, call them, write them, harass them.
Exactly.
It is their job to ensure that the laws are put in place to protect us.
I'm not worried about, in their words, I'm not worried about one thug in their words, and the other people's words. I'm not worried about one thug. I'm not worried about any of that.
No.
That's the people I'm worried about.
We don't have school. There's no school shootings in inner, like, the school shootings are done by a certain demographic.
Thank you.
And the demographic at my son's school does not include the demographic that does the majority of school shootings.
Thank you.
Right? So my son's school is a majority global.
You have those numbers. Can you pull them up for me? I'd love to hear them. The difference in the demographics and the percentage of our counterparts opposed to our counterparts and myself and ourselves.
1 second. Let me Xavier has my laptop, so I will find it quickly though. You know what? School shootings, what we know about. Why? Demographics. 1 second. Oh, that's a paywall. 1 second.
Right here on the conversation, folks, we believe in facts, and this is why I'm asking this on live television. I'd like to get those numbers in real time, so you guys can get those numbers in real time. We believe
All
in
right.
facts over here.
Mass shootings in the U.S. by shooters by race and ethnicity as of March 2023, and that's from Statistica.com. Between 1982 and March 2023, 73 of the 141 mass shootings in the United States, 73 were carried about white shooters. By comparison, the perpetrator was African American in 25 mass shootings and a Latino in 11. When calculated as percentage, this amounts to 51%, 17%, and 7%, respectively. That's in general for mass shootings.
Right.
Let me find schools. It doesn't break it down for schools.
I'm more than sure it wasn't. I'm more than sure it would not.
U.S. school shooting statistics. But the problem is when you're looking at school shootings, you have to check which website you're looking at.
Exactly.
Because some of them are
giving you false numbers, false demographics.
Let's see. I'm looking. There were 93 school shootings, 2021. Highest 2020 to 2021 was highest number in 20 years. Yeah. It says 85% of school shootings by white males. Here we go. U.S. school shooting statistics. From July 1992 and June 1999, 93.5% of the shooters were male. 5 students used 2 arms each. 26.8% of the shooters committed suicide, and 69.1% of the shooters perpetrated a homicide.
Thank you.
So,
God bless. Good night. There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Just finding the grievances. Most of them are unknown because they're either killed or commit suicide.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Of course.
95% were current students and 5% were recently former students who attended the targeted school or a school from the same district within one academic year of the plotting. 85% engaged in planning related to weapons. 73% detailed how they would execute their attackers. 57% documented some of their thoughts and intentions regarding their planned attacks. 16% attempted to recruit others. 55% choose to use at least 2 or 3 types of weapons. 96% of weapons of choice included 1 or more firearms. Here's the scary part. 94% shared their intentions about carrying out an attack.
Boys and girls, there's your problem.
94%.
Boys and girls, there is your problem.
I'm
just going to go ahead and say it since nobody else is going to say it here.
What's that?
Melanated people tend not to do stuff like that.
No, and that's why it took so long to find the DC sniper. Because the DC sniper didn't fit the profile of what a sniper looks like. So, and here's the thing. You can look up the database. There is a K-12 school shooting database project as part of the Advanced Thinking in Homeland Security.
Exactly.
A database on school shootings. That's how many happen.
I told Tam as we were talking earlier before I come on, and she said, "I see you guys doing school shootings." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I just go ahead and greenlight it because I know she's coming with the numbers." She was like, "Yeah, I know. She's coming with. I knew you were coming with the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I knew you were gonna come with accurate numbers. I knew it was gonna be exactly what it was."
Yeah.
I'll never run from these type of conversation. I always run toward them.
Yeah. When you look at the numbers, and the statistics, it's ridiculous. Exactly. You know, I mean, when you go through the research, like we have so many school shootings. We have We have tons of research on the whys and the whens and the hows, and yet we can't put any of that information together to stop. There's a mass shooting in Australia. They took proactive action, and they haven't had one since.
Ladies and
Right?
gentlemen, your dinner is served. Your
Like,
dinner's got a full plate of goodies here. Your dinner is served.
yeah.
Can you repeat what you just said?
Oh, Australia had a mass shooting. They took proactive action. They haven't had one since. And then people are like, oh, well, gee, we have a larger population. I'm like, okay, let's look at places with large populations. How many school shootings does India have on a regular basis? How many school shootings does China have on a regular school basis? Japan, all these countries with much larger populations. Okay? In Switzerland, everybody has guns, and you don't see shootings on a regular basis.
Exactly.
It's a cultural issue.
Exactly.
And we will never fix it because there's too much money involved. And the religion in the United States is the almighty dollar.
Exactly. Don't
As
forget.
much as,
I totally agree. Too much money and greed.
yeah, it's money and greed. That's why our healthcare sucks, but you're paying out the behind for it.
Exactly. One more.
It's all about money.
One more cuss word that'll do me fine for the night. One more cuss word.
I didn't use a
I'm gonna
cuss
get you
word
going. I'm gonna get you going to get that one more cuss word out.
I didn't use a cuss word that time. But here's the thing. We are failing our kids.
Exactly.
Right? People worried about drag queens and story hour. I'm like, really? Drag queens are a performer. They're like, oh, they're groomers. There was a school principal fired in Florida because they had they showed a naked statue of David. Like, come on. We have gotten so much that we are the laughing stock of the world.
Pretty much.
They
follow these comments up. I know you can't see it over there.
Oh, yeah, I can't see any comments. Let me see. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me get caught up. Okay, Martine said guns. They've become desensitized to too much. I'm so thankful to arrive home safely daily. I check in with my family every day. The one thing about SM that I like is that you can see regular social media. You can see regular activity. It helps to know that your people are alive and kicking. The U.S. doesn't want to have communities created between all groups. Thoughts and prayers is the same thing as texting HBD as a birthday salute. Empty. Slash says, how many viewers' families have taken part of a shooter drill or worse? Slash says, this gun issue is too far gone for the lawmakers to take assault rifles from the white people that own and sell them at the gun shows. The lawmakers have chosen their side. A lobbyist own them. Yep, you're right. They are owned by lobbyists.
And the comment for the goes to Slash.
Yeah, Martine says, who's the person from Green Hills? I remember the DC sniper situation, a father and son. He was a foster son, I believe. He wasn't actually his biological father, but that's a whole other story. Martine says, I don't usually get into discussions because some people get too damn emotional. It causes trouble between families and friends. You know what, Martine? Sometimes there need to be trouble between families and friends.
Exactly.
Because there's some things you can't sit on the fence about.
And this is where when we talk about these tough conversations, Martine, we're just not talking about romantic relationships and stuff like that. Tough conversations overall. Tough conversations, healthy conversations, in my opinion. Yeah.
I don't want to be friends with somebody who has no problem with my 9-year-old possibly getting shot at school. You know, if you refuse to do the work to protect them, then we're not going to be buddies. Because I will work to protect my child and every other child.
Exactly. She has one more. She has one of them.
No. Oh no, I read that. It said lots of people are becoming so sensitive these days. I steer clear usually. Yeah. So here's the thing. People aren't sensitive. People are affected by what's going on. 378,000 kids have been involved in school shootings. 378,000. That's how many kids have sat in a classroom and heard gunshots.
That's a lot.
You know what I mean? When kids go to school, they shouldn't be worried about who can see in the door or the angle of a gunshot, or can they hide is there enough room for all of them to hide in the closet? Right? It's, and then people are like, well, Dee, if you don't like it, move. I'm like, you know what? Your goal is to make things better. for everyone. Now, if your goal isn't to make it better for everyone, you can leave. The rest of us will drag this country back, drag it into the future, kicking and screaming if we have to. Because I know the next generation coming up, they're not playing with you. Gen Z and Gen Alpha are, you do what's right because it's right, not because it's popular. Right. These kids are tired of active shooter drills. These kids don't care. They watch their friends die. They left school with blood on their bodies. They don't care if you have your gun or not. They want it fixed. I won't be around when they're running the place. Right? When Xavier's 40 and he's running for Congress or something because he's destined for great things. I'm not going to be around to see that. But I will know that I can rest easy because I know his generation is not going to put up with the nonsense that our generation is. Because they've lived through it.
Real tough.
What do I think that can be done to protect the children? I think we need massive mental health help. We need people to have help. We need common sense gun laws. Right? If in order for me to drive my car on the road, it has to be registered and licensed and insured. I need all that stuff to drive my car. I can go down to a gun show. I can buy as many guns as I want. I don't even have to show a driver's license. Something's wrong with that. There's too many loopholes. You can buy a gun and put it on credit and take the gun and then just make payments.
That's true.
There's got to be things that we can do that make sense.
But they won't.
Listen, man.
There are things that can be done. It's been proven in other countries. It's been proven.
Listen, the generation that has grown up with school shootings as a commonplace are voting now.
Exactly.
They are now voting. They are making changes. We have a Gen Z who's in Congress, and for once, I see people actually like coming back and saying stuff.
Right.
Slash as Mama Martine girl, that was about him having an issue with his ex-wife. So the military trained DC snipers planned and plotted to go out and shoot people. Plus Muhammad had contacted the police early on. Yeah, that whole DC sniper thing's there's a whole other lot of stuff going on. There's not everything that meets the eye as nicely as everybody would like it to think.
Right.
And yes, they did cause havoc and terrorize DC for a while. But you know what? When it comes down to shootings, it's let me pull up. I just pull up another page. 1 second here. So it says 157 lives and 365 people have been injured from 1999 to 2021. The median age of school shooters is 16. And since 1970, there's 1,644 school shootings in the United States, with 589 fatalities and 1,612 injuries.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yep. I know exactly what you mean. I hear you loud and clear.
And we're just talking about school shootings. We're not even talking about workplace shootings. You know what I mean? That's a whole other conversation. You know what I mean? It's we're at the precipice where not doing anything can no longer happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's at the point now where we've had an entire generation, who've been raised with active shooter drills. We have a generation who's traumatized by sitting in classrooms and guns going off. We've torn down and rebuilt numerous schools because of deaths. You know, school is supposed to be a safe place for our kids to go, to learn, to have fun, meet friends, all the stuff that you imagine memories of childhood would be. Right? It's not a place where they go and live in fear. You know? I shouldn't be worried that a mile down the street that somebody could shoot their way into my son's school, and I'm counting classrooms to see how much time he has to escape. That's messed up.
Exactly.
Right?
You know, what type of mindset and what type of evil is brewing in a person to consciously, I'm not going to say unconsciously, consciously walk into an elementary school and open fire?
They, I didn't actually look up the studies on what they say it is, because most of the time the shooter is killed. So it's only speculation on the actual reasons behind. If they didn't leave a manifesto, or they didn't leave notes or anything. So I don't like to speculate that on that. I know there's obviously somebody who is mentally ill. But let's not put it as only a mentally ill issue, because they have guns and they have access to guns. And if you're mentally ill, there should be
Yeah, I'll probably get in trouble for this one, but
what's that?
I say, when the police or the SWAT teams approach these folks when they're actively shooting in these schools, or just a mass shooting altogether, give them a flesh wound. Don't kill them. Don't kill them. Give them a flesh wound. Then deal with them later on.
They most of the time it's the shooter will kill themselves, because the police, because they're young white men, will bring them in alive. Look at the Dylan Roof, who prayed with those people and then shot them. They took him to friggin' Burger King for supper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they look like me, they wouldn't have done that.
Not at all.
Like, and in Texas, they didn't do anything while those kids were killed.
Nothing at all.
Nothing. All those cops, and they just stood outside and didn't do a thing. And those babies were being murdered. I'm sorry. This is the hill I will die on, that if you tell me you're pro-life and you're not doing anything that, I'm just going to call you a hypocrite to your face.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry, because it's ridiculous. There's absolutely no reason these should be happening in our schools week after week, year after year. Okay? We think we're the biggest, baddest country on earth. Fix it. We know we have no problem telling everybody else what they're doing wrong. Why can't we fix what's going on here? We're quick to point the finger at everybody else. We're quick to tell Iran how they're doing things wrong, or how Korea's doing things wrong, or how China's doing things wrong. Meanwhile,
they have no interest in that. They don't want to fix something that they.
Listen, man, this just makes me angry.
They have the tools to fix everything sitting up in a closet.
Oh yeah. Let me go back. Martine says, with TV and many forms of media marketing sadness, suicide, mental illness, how do we help with guidance, good, healthy guidance? Therapy. We get people therapy. That's how if somebody has mental illness, if somebody is talking about they having issues being bullied, or they're having issues with depression, we get them therapy. Slash says, the Virginia Tech shootings, we learn nothing because of greed and racism, pledging allegiance to the almighty dollar, fake American dreams and promises. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Martine said, I thought of Robert Bullets today. And Slash says, then take him in and bring him to BK Express. That's a slap in the face of the black folks and the churchgoers killed. Yeah, definitely. In my opinion, the U.S. enjoys being able to tell horrible stories and write about statistics.
Pretty much.
You know what? The U.S. where trauma porn is a real thing. People like to watch videos of death and destruction. People like to pretend there's conspiracy theories about school shooters and the kids dying. And I don't know why. Like, people telling the actual parents of Sandy Hook children that were killed that their kids were crisis actors and they never existed. Like, you got to be pretty sick yourself to say that.
As I said in the opening piece, this is a sick society. This is a sick system. And these are sick people that's running this system.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's,
Or saying satanic. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Yeah. Like everybody says, well, why? Um, Here's Alfred University. Why do shootings occur? Possible 16 reasons. So they did a poll and asked people to rate 16 reasons why school shootings on a 1 to 5 agree. First was they want to get back at those who have hurt them. Other kids pick on them, make fun of them, or bully them. They don't value life. They've been a victim of physical abuse at home. They have mental problems. Easy for them to get along, get a gun. They do not get along with their parents. They don't have any good friends. And then there's some other ones that like they see violence on TV, or violence is a way of life in their neighborhood, which is funny because statistically, the people who commit the school shootings come from nice, quiet, safe white neighborhoods. So, people like to look at stereotypes and statistics and realize that when you look at school shootings, it's actually the exact opposite of all the stereotypes. It's
interesting.
What's that?
Quite interesting.
Yeah, it's what, and I think they're actually going to get worse as people start losing more power, because the country is getting beigeur and beigeur every year. And as they become a minority, the power grab is going to be more and more and more. Look at how all the voter suppression laws that they're trying to put in place. Okay, it's we as a group have to combine with other groups and fight back. Okay, we have to vote out the people who are getting voted in. Okay, you can't vote on one issue. If you're only voting for somebody because you're anti-abortion and that's the only reason you're voting for that person, even though that person is pro-guns, then you're not anti-abortion. You're forced birth. That's it. Because you don't care about babies that are born. You don't care about kids in school.
We got 2 minutes here.
All right.
Here, but
I'm trying not to swear. I'm trying to be.
it's all good. But we're all adults here. We all know what the issue is and what happened.
Martine says, I don't know when we'll see a difference in people's behavior. It's sick. / says, also, if they don't flesh wound, rubber bullet, or tase unarmed Black people, how could the race soldiers only injure a mass shooter? And Martine, I remember
when I say flesh wound, / I'm talking about get him somewhere and then deal with him. I'm not talking. Just don't. That's too easy. Killing him. That's easy. That's real easy. That's helping him. Give him a flesh wound, then deal with him.
Yeah, Martine says people are becoming powerless and they're beginning to panic. So here's the thing. The problem with the flesh wound is they still have weapons and they can still kill. So that's the problem with that. And I understand having
to have some marksmen out there would actually hit him and knock him down and leave him down, but not kill him and just wait and do some other stuff with him.
Yeah, but that goes against all of our training. We're trained to aim for the central body mass. So aim for the kill shot, not the injure shot.
Let me enjoy the moment of torture for a second.
All right. I'll leave you to it. I won't get technical. But you know what? I could talk about this for days and days and days, because people don't want to hear it. They don't want it in their face. You know what I mean?
Because it's the truth. That's why.
It's like Xavier and I have been. He's been watching him walking and marching since he was in a stroller. So I think his first march, I think he was like 8 months old in Baltimore. So, it's my heart goes out to the parents of those 3 kids, those 3 9-year-olds, and the families of the adults that were killed. And you know what? I wish it doesn't happen again, but I know probably before we even have our show on Sunday, there'll be another shooting. You know what I mean? And
all I can say is, my heart goes out to those kids, man, and I can't even begin to say I understand, because I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't know how it feels or anything like that. But we're in a desolate time, man. We have to stay mindful and stay alert. Again,
Yeah.
stay mindful and stay alert.
Yeah. Slash, you hit the nail on the head there. That would be white on white crime, and that's, we know, is imaginary, like the white whale Moby Dick. Oh yeah, we don't talk about white on white crime. Even people don't like to hear that 85% of crime is intraracial, white on white, black on black. You don't want to talk about that.
I don't want to talk about it because it's the truth. They don't want to talk about truth. So,
Yeah.
Again, stay mindful, stay prayerful, and stay alert.
Yeah. So you know what? It's our time to go. Give your kid, do what I'm going to do tonight. Give your kids a close hug if you have babies at home. And love on them. And I always say the last thing we say before Xavier leaves my presence is I tell him I love him. So those are the last words he hears.
Right.
And think about that. That's not dropping your kids off at school and worried that they'll come home that night.
Right.
I don't even have a learning lesson tonight for anybody. I just have.
I was just here for the comments. That's why I said the mic was yours. So I was just here for the comments, and I have nothing.
And I'm not even going to say prayers, because you know what? It's times like these that just reinforces certain beliefs I have, because things like this shouldn't happen to little babies. You know what I mean? So take that for what it's worth. You can write me all you want, and then you explain to me why, if God is so good, why babies are being buried and getting shot and getting molested and getting raped and dying of cancer every day.
All
right?
Mail goes to dlayler@gmail.com.
The Bible is used to control people. We're going to celebrate Easter. Easter was a pagan ritual. Christmas was not when Jesus was born. He wasn't born on December 25th. That's when they used to convert people to convert paganism. I'm just so tired of people and their BS and not following through with what's actually happening in the world. You know what I mean? They talk about groomers and stuff. I mean, kids are getting killed every day and they don't care about it because they're taking money from the NRA. Yeah, it is what it is. I'm just mad.
One last comment. We'll get out.
Martine says, no, not at all. The children need to be kept safe. Yep. Absolutely. So, hug your babies, call your Congress people, write them, go down to your state houses, send emails, send letters to Washington. All their numbers are available online, and cause a ruckus. Call them to the mat. And that's what we have to do en masse as groups, and tell them that their days are numbered, and we will get somebody in there who will protect our kids. Right?
That's it, folks. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, and again, stay mindful, stay prayerful, stay alert.
Yeah.
We see you guys on the other side of Sunday.
All right. Have a good night. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedy Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.